Hi guys, this is Tvedas here again, and I'll be recording a live blitz session on chess.com. So I'm playing a forever homeless guy from Italy, I believe. A bit lower rated than me, but probably a pretty good player. I'll be going for Benko Gambit this game, because I'm feeling feisty. Let's see here. I have to admit though, I have no idea how to play Benko. I just felt like doing it, so we'll see. I assume I'm doing alright so far, but what is this? I've never seen f4 played, ever. This doesn't seem like a super good move for some reason. I wonder if I can somehow abuse it already, but I guess I'll just continue with standard Benko ideas. Knight f3, bishop g7. I'm assuming, yeah, that he goes for e4. If he plays f4, it wouldn't make any sense to not play e4, but somehow this seems like his king might be just a little too open for comfort. However, if I simply castle here, I'm afraid that he can play king f2 and then king g1 to castle by hand. So instead, I think I should be trying to make his king stay in the center if possible. Now with king f2, I have c4 check. Well, this guy is extremely aggressive. That's good. I like aggressive opponents. Let's see here. If I take f takes and I play something like knight g4, how does he continue? It would be very nice if I had castled already, but I didn't have time for that, so I think it makes sense to take. Still, I'm ready to castle, he isn't, so I should be trying to open the position if possible. Queen e2, that makes sense. However, still, he's not threatening to play bishop e3. He is now thinking maybe about playing bishop f4, because he protected the b2 pawn. Also, he's probably threatening h3, since he's protected e5 now. I wonder what happens if I attack e5 with a tempo, developing a piece at the same time. I expect bishop f4 most likely. And after that I'll have to figure out just what exactly should I do. Now h3 is a little annoying threat because I really like my knight on g4, and it doesn't have any good escape squares. h6 is a bit annoying, even though from h6 he might go to f5 and then later d4, so maybe it's not terrible. However, I'm kind of interested in playing g5. I'm not sure if that's not too aggressive though. Okay, I'll start with queen b4. Attacking the bishop a little bit. I want to see what he does. Bishop g3, okay. Bishop g3 leaves his dark squares a bit open, so now if he castles long, I'll maybe have bishop h6 checks with interesting ideas. Also now I'm not afraid of h3 anymore, because I'll have knight h6 and knight f5 with tempi. Knight on f5 will be attacking the g3 bishop, and also the bishop is blocking immediate g4, which I was afraid of because that would seal my knight on h6. So let's see here. I'm still a pawn down. I think my position is fairly decent. However, and he plays e6. Wow, that is just very, very, very aggressive. If I take, of course, queen takes and I lose my knight. On the other hand, I might have some tactics there on c3, but the king probably just runs away. So instead of that, I think I'll start with a knight f5. If he takes on d7, I will take on g3 with a fork. And if he goes back to f2, then his king doesn't have the escape route via f2. So then bishop c3 becomes a big deal. So I'm interested to see where he's going to put the bishop. If he takes on f7, I am very happy to just either take with a rook, or actually maybe even king h8 might be a better idea. The problem is that I don't have any time, as usual. Now bishop c3 is interesting, of course. Takes, and he runs to f2. I think I'll start with knight b6 though. I'd like to keep tension on the board. I don't want to give my bishop up so easily. Again, if he takes on f7, I'm probably just moving away, but he's running to f2 right away. Okay, that makes sense. And now maybe knight d4. Again, the idea is if I force him to take on d4, it means his king cannot escape, but if he doesn't take, then I'm threatening f takes e6 now, with opening the f file, and I protected e6 with my knight, so he cannot take with a queen anymore. If he takes, of course, rook takes f7, and I'm ready to double on the f file, so that should be fine. The only real trouble is that I don't have much time. And he runs to g3. Well, that's impressive. Now I have to take on c3, I think, to have any chances, and I'll take again. He cannot play rook f3 because the rook on a1 is hanging. And if queen f3, then I probably can just trade queens, or maybe just knight d5 right away is better. Well, I'm not a pawn down anymore. That is nice. If he takes on f7, I can take with a rook. I think in every case I should end up being a pawn up. Let's see here. Do I want to... I think I'll trade queens. Rook takes, and I'll take on g2. I should have taken on e6. That was a bad move. I could have taken on e6 and ended up 2 pawns up. Now I'll probably just have 1 pawn up. But if he takes on c5, then I'll take on e6. But of course he won't. He will take on f7 first, and I'll take, and he'll take my rook probably. Or he'll take on c5, okay. Now I'll have to figure something out. I'll play knight f6. I'm threatening knight e4 fork. I'm also threatening knight h5. His king and bishop are both in very unpleasant positions. I expect rook c8 check, just to avoid a fork with tempo, and now probably bishop g1 is his idea. But I have knight e4, and if he goes to h2, I take on f3 because it's pinned. And if it goes to h4, I'm not quite sure. There should be some mating nets here, I'm feeling. I don't have much time to figure this out. I'll just stay here. Now, of course, rook f7. Oh my god, I didn't see that at all. That's not bad though. He cannot take because g5 is mate. Actually, g5 just is mate next move. So he has to give you rook up. And all I have to do is not allow stalemate. If he takes on g6, I will take with a pawn, and then after bishop g7 I can go to h7. What if he starts with bishop g7 though? That's nasty. Bishop g7, king g7, and rook g6 check. Amazing stalemate ideas. So I'll have to give you rook up. I'll have to go like king f7 or something. Well, he starts with that, so I'll just run away, so that there is no stalemate. He should have started with bishop g7, because bishop g7 would force me to take on g7. Now I wasn't forced, so. And here I'll just play bishop, rook f5 that is. I'm threatening rook h5 mate, and he doesn't really have a good way of dealing with it, and he resigns. Alright, let's see, maybe he wants one more. That actually worked out pretty well. Alright, so I'll play d4, my usual opening. I think maybe e4 would fit my style more, but I started playing d4 when I was like 5, so it's pretty hard to switch to e4 and just change absolutely everything about your play. Okay, so he's going for Queen's Indian. I'll play a3. That's what I play, and I'm not even sure how it's called actually, which is pretty sad. Play knight c3. Bishop e7, so he's developing calmly. Let's see here. I have no recollection of his line whatsoever. I think I should go bishop f4 somehow, but I'm pretty sure I should have played h3 first. Maybe I should play h3 now. What happens after knight b5 if I just try to brute force it? It doesn't seem like it should work, but maybe. Knight b5, knight a6. It probably doesn't work. On the other hand, I really would like to have an escape square for my bishop. Because most of my play will probably come via some combination of rooks, knights, and bishops on the c file and c7 square. Interesting. So he takes on d4, and I have a decision to make here. I think knight d4 is by far the best, because I do limit his mobility a lot. He cannot move his knight to d7 anymore. Now he will be able to, after he protected c6. And he's also threatening to just maybe take on c4 because my g2 is hanging. So that was a pretty nice move by him. Let's see here. What can I do? I'm just feeling feisty. Let's go knight b5 and see what happens. Probably knight a6. I'm expecting, or knight c6. Knight c6 I did not expect at all. I'm not sure if that's any good though. Knight c6. If I take... I'm starting to dislike my position just a little bit. I would like to develop in castle, but he's not making it easy for me. So what if I go bishop f3 maybe? He takes on d4, and I take, and then g2 will hang. Okay, let g2 hang. I'm feeling feisty. I think we can make this work somehow. Probably not, but maybe. I don't know why I did that. I'm just dropping a pawn actually. Not a very smart idea. Actually no, after knight d4 I would have just taken with a pawn, so... now maybe he's thinking about e5, and so, no, probably not. I'll just castle. I have to castle as soon as possible. And I'm down over 1 minute. That's not good. Okay, after this I can always play something like bishop c7 to just move his rook out of the way if needed, but I don't want to just now. If I take on c6, no, let me play bishop f3 maybe first. Even though I might just lose c4 pawn and not be able to get it back. This game is somehow not going too well so far. I'm not terribly excited about my position. There's a bunch of tension going on in the center, and I'm not sure if I can handle that. Okay, rook c8. It just seems like he's playing very, standard, kind of shallowish moves. But it seems like they're working for him. So I'll take on c6. He has to take with a bishop or else a7 pawns. False. And now I'll play the knight back to d4. And let's see. Probably bishop b7. But what do I do now? c4 is attacked twice. I cannot really protect it, so I will just have to take it. Probably knight d5, I think. Well, maybe bishop d5 is also good for him. That's what he does. And this is not very good. I'm probably, well, I shouldn't be losing. This still seems pretty drawish, but I definitely don't have any advantage whatsoever. I'll play bishop e5 just to be pseudo-active. I'm not active at all, and he kicks me out, which is maybe not so bad. That might open up some chances later on over v light squares. Now, okay, I'll go to e2. Maybe f3 was better, actually. Whatever. Yeah, my bishop is boxed in a little bit, and I don't have much time. So he attacks b2. And he's threatening all sorts of, oh, so many threats. b2 is hanging, e3 is hanging, and e2 is hanging too. So this is not good. Let's see, can I save everything somehow? Probably not. That's why I should have went to f3 with knight. Okay, let me play rook c1. Maybe that could potentially do something at some point. I doubt it, because d8 is still protected by a bishop, which I did not see, so I'm losing everything here. He can take on c1, and after I take with the knight, because if I take with the queen I lose the e2 knight, he can then play knight e3, which I assume he sees. If he does, I can probably just resign. Yep. Well played by my opponent. I will resign this one. Hopefully this was at least somewhat educational and entertaining. And as usual, till the next time.